Hello Libra, welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 5 of Wands, fight, right? Strife. This is a control over our fiery energy, right? It's a control over the gas pedal of our lives, right? Do we need to slow down? Do we need to speed up? What should we be putting more attention into? What should we be putting less attention or energy or time or money or into? This is our ability to control this consciousness that we have. Right, this spiritual energy that we are. Our ability to direct it in one place and not another. More of it here, less of it here. Yeah. We're learning how to use the knob on the stove, turning up the heat or turning down the heat. Maybe we're going to let things simmer. Maybe we're going to turn the burner off altogether and we don't want to cook that thing anymore. We don't want to cook that. I'm not hungry for that, So let's see what else is going on in your life. Let's see where this fiery energy is going and where it may need to go kind of more often or less often. Yeah. Let's use our Dove and Serpent spread. We've got our Princess of Wands. It's kind of this idea of experimenting. Maybe we've been cooking the same old dish for a long time. There's an Ace of Wands. There's the fire itself, right? The will itself, the consciousness, the divine energy, the creative force. There's a 4 of Swords. A Queen of Wands. See, I told you all about this fire energy and how we're controlling it. And then finally an Ace of Cups. That's the dish we really want to cook, right? Wow, this is really something. All this fiery energy. And then we've got our heart and our mind, right? Our swords and our cup. This is beautiful. It really is about how we're controlling this fiery energy. It really is about self-control, but it's about controlling what we are putting our time, our money, our energy, our effort into. And, some things in life that we're so focused on and we invest so much time and energy into it, is it creating the experience that you want? Is it creating a long-term result? Perhaps at the expense of our sort of immediate term enjoyment? Are we miserable now, but we think, well, eventually I'll create something through this effort and that's going to be worth it? Or are we focused on things right now that we love, that we enjoy, that we're having a good time doing, that we want to be involved with, that we sort of, we want to give it more of our attention if we could, right? That I would spend my whole day doing this if I had that kind of availability, It's not so much about the long-term result, but it's about the experience that you're having right now. And I kind of wonder if our Princess of Wands may be saying that you're sort of spreading your fiery energy too thin. Maybe there's too many things that you're involved with. And we need to really narrow it down to that one thing, Now, I don't mean to say that you only should be kind of interested in one thing in your life, that you should just be doing, that you should have one focus for your life. But maybe we need to focus some of this fiery energy toward our sense of purpose. And so this isn't really about doing one particular thing, but this is about everything that we do, feeling as if we're meant to do it. It's part of our purpose, and it's creating this kind of, in the moment, in the real-time experience of it, there's joy, there's love, there's exhilaration, there is purpose. Because maybe the Princess of Wands is doing too many things, none of which really mean all that much. Spreading our energy around very, very thin, involved in things that it's just sort of almost like we're blown by the wind. Yeah. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay? We'll finish up with the rest of our cards, and then we'll get into the details here. We have a Prince of Pentacles, a Prince of Cups, 5 of Swords, and 9 of Pentacles. See, the 9 of Pentacles is a card of gain, but to me, it's the card of living a successful life, right? Living a life that is successful. What does success mean? Well, it's living a life that maybe is financially profitable, right? And that's kind of like, I'm doing work today that I know is rewarding me. Is it rewarding you long-term and or short-term? Okay? So I think that's kind of what we're doing here with our princes. Prince of Pentacles, Prince of Cups. It's the here and now. We're focused on what we're doing right now, today. Now, in order to have clarity about today, we need to kind of have this Queen of Wands, which is looking at yesterday, looking at the past. Okay? And, well, we see the 4 of Swords in the past. That might be an indication of the way we've been doing things, right? And maybe today's different. Maybe what we're doing today needs to be a little bit more creative. Maybe we need our Princess of Wands to be a little bit more impulsive, right? A little bit more risky. Maybe we need to do more things, right? Well, we'll get into it. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with our little octopus friend, the 8 of Tentacles. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. If you want to predict that card, put something down in the comments. All right, let's do it together. What I do notice about the reading here is that there's no major arcana. This doesn't happen very often, right? I think there's the absence of major arcana here is because it's Spirit's way of saying that everything going on right now is within your control. All the cards on the table, you're responsible for those. And you have the power. Again, the 5 of Wands is all about control. How are we controlling our attention? How are we controlling our time, energy, money, and effort? Right? What are we applying all of that energy to? How are we utilizing this? Are we turning up the heat? Are we turning down the heat? Do we know where the knob is on the stove? You know? And so it's all about controlling this creative energy, controlling our consciousness, controlling our power of attention, what we are focusing our energy on. Okay? And I feel like the Princess of Wands right now is saying that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to focus your life on so many different things. I think the 4 of Swords back here is kind of the old way of doing things. To me, it feels like this is the box that we're getting out of. You know, this is a creative, this is sort of stifling your creativity. This was sort of suffocating you. And this was a very kind of routine or orderly or by the book. This was the recipe. This is you now improvising the recipe, kind of cooking something of your very own here, right? So I don't think it's necessarily about narrowing down your life to one particular purpose or plan or one particular activity. But I think it is, it's more about realizing where you do not want to put your attention anymore. Realizing those things that were holding you back. Okay? The only thing that is clear, the one thing that's finally becoming clear, is that you've got to get a handle on your attention and what you devote it to and where you focus your energy. Because back here, I feel like you're sort of just, you're sort of contained by other forces, right? With this Four of Swords. It could be family, it could be the job, it could be beliefs that you've had, values that you've held. I feel like that is a very kind of rigid plan. It's like you've plotted a course and that's it. Okay. Four of Swords is stability of the mind. And it's kind of, in some ways, we like that. In some ways, I don't want the stress, I don't want the chaos, just tell me what I'm supposed to do. And we all have moments like that, right? Where we're just like, I'm tired of stressing out over it. Just give me the recipe, give me the directions, and I'll just follow them, okay? Tell me what to do because I'm tired of fighting, I'm tired of worrying and stressing about it. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking around for the 5. Of course, we got the 5s. We got the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Swords here. But the 4 of Swords says that at one time we wanted this kind of stability. We wanted the order. We wanted the predictability. We wanted to have a sheet of paper that told us exactly what to do because it's easier. And sometimes I just want that. I want to just be able to rest my mind and just follow the instructions. It doesn't take much effort. Doesn't take much creativity. Just give me my lines, you know. But I think that right now, the one thing that's becoming clear is that you can't live this way. That you've got this fiery spirit of creativity. This is a heck of a lot of fire energy cutting right through your life here and saying, wait a minute, no. This was only going to last for a long time. This was a temporary rest, right? And this is kind of like one day we just wake up and we just say, wait a minute, what am I doing? I want to create the life. I don't want to just follow a script. I want to write the script, right? I want to improvise. I don't even want a script, right? The Princess of Wands is improvising, right? And you're just in the kitchen, you're just cooking. I'm just saying, whatever I got, I'm going to cook it. Maybe a little more heat, maybe a little less heat. I'm going to have 2 or 3 things going over here, but this is the main dish. And it's kind of whatever we feel like in the moment. This is what feels good now. This is exhilarating now. This is true creativity. Okay? Not thinking about some other plan or structure or what somebody else wants us to do, what we feel we're expected to do. We're not thinking of some future thing like, well, if I do this the right way, they're going to pay me for it, you know? It's not even performative. It's just expressive. Okay? This is your need to create, not to perform, and not to conform either, right? Getting out of the form words, you know? And that's the 5, getting out of the form. Changing the form, right? Getting outside of the box, pushing the envelope, whatever you want to call it. You're not conforming, you're not performing, you're creating. And yeah, it cranks up the heat. Life's going to get a lot busier. But the one thing that's clear, Libra, is that you're not going to conform, you're not going to perform, okay? That you're not going to follow a recipe. This is extinguishing your fire energy. Well, you got this ace underneath you. You're a very creative person. And you're very sort of, I don't know, I feel like you're very spontaneous, you know? Like you're someone that when you're with your friends, you always have the good idea what we should go do tonight, you know? And it's always something like, wow, that's a good idea. Like, holy, I didn't even think of that. That's going to be fun, you know? I think you're always thinking outside the box. Or not always, because, you know, we had the box, that 4 of Swords. But when you do think outside the box, when you do create spontaneously and you're just living for that moment, not of what the expectations are and not what the, you know, not thinking of the rewards or the paycheck at the end of the week. You're just here now doing this work, expressing yourself in this creative way. That's when you feel this Ace of Cups. That's when you feel like you're living your purpose. Okay, the purpose doesn't mean we have to have a predefined goal and a predefined path to get to the goal. The purpose is a moment-to-moment experience, right? It's a moment-to-moment. We're feeling like I'm doing my purpose right now as we're speaking. You know, it's not like I'm doing my purpose because I know it's, you know, I got this plan, I got this goal at the end of the day or the end of the month or the end of the week or year or the end of my life or whatever, and that's the, you know, that's the satisfaction. No, living your purpose is satisfying right now as you're living it. In this eternal moment, this is all we really have, okay? And I think that you experience that the most when you are tapped into your creative, fiery energy, okay? And of course, the Queen of Wands up here at the top has to reflect on the past. We have to understand what it is that we don't want so we don't find our way inadvertently right back in the box, right? And so the Queen of Wands is always sort of keeping watch. It's the part of you that remembers what this felt like when you're in this routine, when you're in this conformity, when you're just in this sort of, I don't know if it's even part of the, like a monotony, like a schedule kind of, you know, the cookie cutter, you know, like the hotel art kind of thing, where it's just mass production and it's just, there's no, maybe you're doing what, you know, the business manager tells you you need to do, or all these other people, what society, what the, you know, doing things the way you're being told to do them. And there is a place for that in life. You know, we all have to kind of follow directions sometimes. But you, I think, feel the most connected, the most satisfied when you're doing something creative, when you're writing music, writing poetry, when you're pushing yourself at the gym, you know, when you're doing something that's not like just part of the job description. You know what I mean? So the Queen of Wands is keeping an eye on that to make sure either this has to be still a part of your life somewhere. We need order, structure. We need to follow directions. We need to follow the recipe. You know, we have to do things sort of well and with business way. But if you're not creating, if you're not in this flow, you're not going to be satisfied. And that makes this totally irrelevant. Okay? So you are a very creative person. Now, of course, the creative person needs to create. I don't think you need to perform or conform. The creation, the experimentation, you know, that kind of energy, this fiery energy is what it's all about for you. That brings you the satisfaction. It doesn't mean that we don't still need some of the business stuff around it to kind of help us out, okay, as a way to facilitate our creativity and to, well, give us the means to create, to continue creating, right? It's kind of like the artist that never publishes a song, never performs a song, never gets a record contract, never gets a manager, never schedules any dates, concerts at the clubs or the bars or anything, like never does anything. It's like the stand-up comic who is just at home writing jokes, but never goes and books themselves anywhere to do it. Or the writer, who intensely creative, always coming up with stories and scenarios and characters, but never writes it down, or does, but never shows it to anybody, never publishes it. No one ever hears it, right? And yes, that's not what it's about, but that's going to facilitate you being able to continue doing it, you know. It could be that you're someone who has a day job, and then in your spare time, you're writing songs, you're making music, you're telling jokes, and you're writing books. You know, that your creativity is sort of something that you do privately at home. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's a very sacred thing. Your creative energy is private. You don't want to share it. You don't care about selling it to the world or profiting from it. You just want to savor it for what it is. Keep it pure. This is pure fire energy, right? But maybe we need a little bit of structure to it. But that's part of our Prince of Pentacles, right? As we move over to the path of the serpent, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, and it supports the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Yeah. Your general energy is the Prince of Pentacles, the builder. You are trying to build something up. You are trying to take your creative energy, and you're trying to create with it. And to create something, I think, is where we need a little bit of structure. We have to conform to certain laws of the universe, right? Laws of physics or some sort of rules or some sort of structure. And it's kind of like the structure and the rules, the theory of music, let's say, is not the point. That's not the essence of music. That's just a structure that allows us to be creative. That it's the means to that creative end. It's like somebody that wants to write a book or has all these creative ideas for stories and things, but doesn't know how to use language, doesn't know how to write or read or spell words or anything, can't put it down on paper, can't put it down, can't really express that. So I think the rules and the technique and the theory gives us the best possible conditions to express whatever this creative fire wants to say. Gives us the medium through which to say it. And that's the builder. And so I think that you're turning this into some sort of production. You're creating it in a physical way, in a way that can be sort of given a demo tape, to give to other people, in a way that can be shared. You're creating it in a way that it can be experienced. Okay? Maybe just experienced by you in your room, maybe experienced by others too. I do think indeed that you're going to share it with others. Yeah. Whatever this could be. Maybe you're cooking. Maybe this is more business type stuff. Maybe this is you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you're an inventor. It could be all sorts of things. A painter, a writer, a poet, musician, comic, scientist, it doesn't matter. The Prince of Cups in the environment. You're trying not to let the pressures of the environment change what you're trying to say or how you say it, right? In other words, the Prince of Cups is trying to be authentic. No matter what happens, you're staying true to what you want. In other words, you're sort of creating for yourself, not for anyone else, right? That you're not writing music or performing music or conducting music or recording music, whatever it is, right? You're not creating music for anyone else. Not for the record company, not for the fans, but for you. Okay? Because you have that need. There is something in you that needs to be expressed, that inner artist. And again, we don't have to be talking about sort of traditional forms of art, painting, sculpting, drawing, animation, acting, singing, dancing, musical instruments, or whatever. We don't have to be talking about those kind of traditional forms of art. It could be anything that you're doing. It could be gardening. This could be the way you're interacting with your family. It could just be you with your group of friends, right? In that sort of creative energy where you got these good ideas and you're living this life, right? It's the way you live. Yeah. And that's where we can really be creative. And we are the artists, right, of our own life. It's the soul art, I guess. But you're trying to be authentic, right? And this is the card in the environment. So there are a lot of people around you that influence you. And there are a lot of things sort of in our past that influence us. Culture or society, right? The way we're brought up, right? Our family history. You're trying to be as authentic as you can and express yourself the way you need to. I think you're also somebody that is really, truly inspired by the world around you. I think through your interactions with people, with places, with things, you get a lot of good ideas. You're always looking, you're always feeling the world. And that fuels your creativity. I think you're a very authentic person. There may be a very important Scorpio person in your life as well, okay? Or you may be meeting, I feel like you're maybe going to meet a Scorpio person in part of this artistic journey of yours. I think a Scorpio is going to become very important in your life. Okay. Now, the Five of Swords is the obstacle here. The difficulty, going back to a stressful life, right? This is the card of stress, mental agitation, where here we had mental rest, calm, peace. You know, I don't have to think for myself, okay, good, I can just kind of chill and rest, you know. Well, we're back to thinking for ourselves now. We're back to being creative and going outside the box, which means your life's going to get more stressful. But it's also going to get more satisfying. And again, we're talking real time. The princes and the princess are focused on the here and now. The queen is the one that looks at the past, okay, to understand kind of what your history is and what you've been through and what your experiences are and what they mean to you. The princess and the princes focus on right here, right now. And yes, life is more stressful right now, but it's also more satisfying. It also feels like you've tapped into this creative source, this well. And yeah, there's all this stress now, but it's worth it, you know. It's hard work. It's stressful mentally, but it's worth it, right? The Nine of Pentacles, at the end, the final sort of outcome here, is living a successful life. You're living a life that is stressful, but it's intensely satisfying in the moment, and you are creating your life in the present moment, in a kind of ongoing act of creation. It's not about the product; it's about the process, and this is the art of living a life that is hard work, very satisfying, because you are tapped in with your creative fire. You are identifying with your pure spirit. And this is manifesting in every moment in real time, living this life. I think there is a financial component to this. I think you're building something that's gonna support you, support your physical existence, you know. I feel like this is a moment-to-moment feeling like we're doing it. We're successful. It doesn't mean that you have achieved a certain amount of money or a certain level of fame or status. No, you're successful because you're able to live your life on your own terms, express yourself creatively, and you're doing it for all the right reasons, and it feels damn good in the moment. Yeah. I like this. I want to look at the mystery card. Yeah. The mystery card may be major arcana. Maybe it's going to be that Libra energy, right? Your power card, the justice card. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. The Ace of Wands, all about that creative fire, all about these good ideas. You're a good idea machine, aren't you? This is inspiration. And I think you're inspired by your relationships. You're inspired by people around you. You're inspired by the world, right? You're inspired by everything. And you inspire the world. You're inspiring others and you're being inspired by others. And I think that, again, this is kind of a reiteration that it's not about just finding one thing that you're supposed to do for your life. It's not about what you're doing. It's about how and why. Yeah. And why? Because you have this creative force within you that really has something to say. And this could take you in many different directions. Maybe one day it's musician, maybe one day it's going to be writing a book, right? Painting a picture, starting a business, raising a family, you know, whatever it is. You're doing it for all the right reasons. You're doing it in the right way. Yeah. You are living an inspired life. And this is really the same as a happy life. And that's the same as a successful life. It's going to be really good. We're going to do an extended reading too if you want to stick around. There is a link in the corner. There's one down below. New readings for Libra Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It does not cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.